And I don't think we have anyone here to say anything about the public hearing, so we will close the public hearing and we'll open the meeting here in about 5 minutes. I'm going to call the meeting to order at this time. If we have, James Shinko is here to open us in prayer.
Let's bow our heads. Gracious God, we thank you for your blessings on our town, and we pray that you would give wisdom to our leaders. With following behind us in Christmas coming, we pray that you would bless our town during the holidays, that we would attract more investment and more people to our little town. We pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're going to do roll call, but just remember to hit your mic when you're speaking so that everybody can hear in the room, please. Thanks.
Vice Mayor Dale, Alderman Elder,
I'm here.
Alderman Langford,
Here.
Alderman Linder,
Here.
Alderman Proctor,
Here.
Alderman Rubel,
Here.
all present except Vice Mayor Dale.
Okay, at this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make the motion.
Motion made by Alderman Linder. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, second by Alderman Proctor. Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, at this time, I'm going to open it up for public comments. I don't think we have anyone for public comments, so we're going to move on down to additions and deletions to the agenda. And I do have one addition to add Resolution 2025-11-1 to the agenda regarding the Tennessee Municipal Bond Fund. Could I have a motion to add that as number 5 under new business?
I'll make the motion.
Okay. Motion made by Alderman Linder to add this. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Alderman Langford. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, under old business, we have ordinance 2025-10-1. It's a rezoning ordinance of the Meisenhammer property, and this is the second reading, and basically wanting to change from commercial to residential property at 601 North Church Street, was formerly a residence. Do I have a motion to accept this
I'll make that
ordinance?
motion.
Okay, we have a
Accept
motion on the table, Alderman Elder, and a second by Alderman Langford. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, let's move on down to some new business. We have, who's going first? Zach or Jean? We have Zach Stevens from the Chamber of Commerce for an update, and Jean Gant also for a Main Street Historic District update. So we have Zach up first.
I think we're going to tag team this. Gene Gant, everyone. So we have a lot of exciting events coming up. I think that's what do what? I feel like we're just going to keep on doing this. We have a lot of exciting events coming up with Christmas time just around the corner. Gene's going to share some details about Christmas in the country. It's going to be on Black Friday, the first Friday of December, right. And then we're moving our third kind of day to right before the Christmas parade on December 13th to try and get some more folks up there on the square. We'll also be having our Christmas parade on that second Saturday, the 13th at 4 p.m. in the evening like it was last year. So we're excited about that. It's actually the 60th anniversary of our Livingston and Overton County Christmas parade. So the theme is a 1960s Christmas. So I hope every single one of you has to build a float and dress in your 60s attire. Also, I'm going to pass out, the Chamber is hosting a special business after hours appreciate Main Street for sponsoring this. It's going to be a legislative session preview with our state senator, Ken Yeager, and our state representative, Ed Butler. We're going to hear from them on a few issues, but specifically about the renewal or extension of the Courthouse Revitalization Act, which has helped fund Main Street since 2006 or 8. So that's really important that we continue that. We're working on some other advocacy things, hopefully in Nashville come January whenever session kicks off. But I hope all of you can attend that and really stress to those guys how important this is and whatnot. I'm going to also hit on something that's affecting the courthouse. The county is going to be applying for a up to $500,000 grant for a courthouse. They're going to be the applicant, but I wanted to share with you all because our courthouse is so important. There's some deterioration happening around the doors and windows, some soffit, some brick and things like that. So we're actually applying for that on Friday. We're going to have everything in, and we're hopeful that we'll get the full $500,000. But I'll keep you all abreast of that. Is there something else about the courthouse you want to share?
It's almost done.
There you go.
He took most of my stuff already. That's what happens. Yeah, courthouse is all but complete, as y'all have seen. I think the finishing touches are being added to it at this point. And we hope to put together a ribbon cutting for noon on November 21st. Once we get that finalized, we'll let everybody know for sure. But that's our tentative plan right now.
We'll send invitations.
Huh?
We'll send invitations.
We'll send invitations, yes. Thank you. As Zach mentioned, the first night of Christmas in the country is the 28th, which is on a Friday. That night we'll also light the Christmas tree at 6, and then Santa will be there. Ice skating will open up for the first time, and the Christmas trees that we had last year that dotted around the courthouse square will not be on the courthouse square this year because the turf is too tender for us to do it up there. Want to keep the traffic off of it for a while, so they'll be down at the park along with ice skating. So that should create quite a pretty atmosphere down there, we think, with the Christmas trees. I think we have over 30 Christmas trees this year that folks from the community have purchased and want to decorate, and there'll be a little contest going with that. The next night of Christmas in the country is December the 5th. There'll be activities on the square as usual. Santa will be there again, and then ice skating in the park as well, along with those Christmas trees. Giant snowman, other things we have planned as well. And then on December 13th is the parade and the skating. Of course, will go on all day that day. And that will, again, we're trying to bring people up to the square to enjoy what we've got and the decorations we're going to have. So that's all that. And then on projects, as I said, the courthouse, as y'all have seen, is almost finished. And the city has chosen ASA Engineering to negotiate with for the Little and Cedar project. And I understand from Ray that we'll bring a contract at the December meeting. ASA is a Chattanooga-based firm that has also a presence in Cookeville. So that's all I have, unless I forgot something. Thank y'all very much.
I want to say the courthouse does look nice. You guys doing a great job.
I'd like to thank the whole committee for doing what you've done, Gene. It's freaking awesome.
Oh, thank you.
And I
Wow.
appreciate the work that Mid-State's done up there. It's really nice. I think it's a great job.
Well, thank you.
It
And
looks really good.
y'all all know that courthouse project predates me quite a bit, but there have been a lot of people involved in it. It's something that we are all proud of, and I think it finally getting done is a real stepping stone for us. It's going to be nice. Thank you for those kind of words. Yes, sir.
Do we know how many people attended Halloween?
1 million.
It was unbelievable.
It was. I don't know, have you got any date on that yet?
We won't know for probably 3 more weeks.
Yeah, we'll know in a few weeks, but we'll be able to tell you that by the December meeting. I personally have been to Halloween for many years. This was absolutely the biggest one we ever had. Never seen anything like it.
And at least next year we'll have where we can get on the square and reduce it some.
Right.
Most of y'all probably weren't there, but they were in line an hour and a half to start walking down Spring Street in front of the booths. That's how many people were there.
Yeah, it was really crowded, and it was perfect weather that day. I mean, it couldn't have been any better. So that brought out even a lot more people, I believe. But it went really well. I mean, there were some people that complained a little about having to wait so long, but there were others that said that it was great and they didn't mind the wait. So they were happy with it. Anything else? Thank y'all. Oh.
What about the courthouse lawn during Christmas in the country?
We're going to try to
People walking on it, it's going to be very fragile.
Yeah, we're going to put some signs around, please stay off the grass signs. We know there'll be some probably, but we're going to do our best to route people off of that. The biggest thing is we will have to put the Christmas tree on the west side of the square this year, the opposite from where it was before. And so during that time, as you know, people try to gather, so we'll try our best to keep them off the grass.
Thank you, Jean and Zach, for the update. Okay, next on the agenda, we do have the personnel policy that has been updated. We had a work session to discuss everything and kind of work through a few things. And so at this time, unless anyone has some more discussion to do about the personnel policy, I would entertain a motion to pass the personnel policy with we had a few changes that we were going to do. What?
We need to talk about the changes.
Okay.
So let's just run through them real quick.
Okay.
Where you made notes.
Well, Phyllis, did you make marks on what we were going to change? Hold on. All right, so we are going to put page numbers on it. And then we are going to change that out-of-rank pay from 8 weeks to 2 weeks. We're going, what?
Put in a definition for qualified employees.
Yes, put in a definition for qualified employee, and under the nepotism and personal relationship policy, we were going to put between employees and supervisors. We were going to change that.
What did you say, 8 weeks to 2 weeks? I didn't get that. Very first thing.
So if we have someone that is out, before what we had on this out-of-rank pay, an employee who, we did have all employees who are assigned temporary work, wait, was that it? Yes. All employees who are assigned temporary work in a higher classification may receive additional compensation for any period in excess of 8 weeks, retroactive to the date of the appointment. We changed that to 2 weeks because if you're being the supervisor for somebody for 2 months because they're out sick, that's kind of a long time to take on additional duties and not be compensated for that time. So we changed it to 2 weeks instead of 8 weeks. Like your third week, if you were acting supervisor, you could be compensated extra. Okay.
So it's not the supervisor, it's the man that's taking his place, so he'll get supervisor pay or...
Right, if you're filling in for them after 2 weeks. Okay, and then Andre, I think you were going to look at the verbiage on the dismissal policy.
We haven't done that yet, so we're just voting on the version now.
Okay, okay,
We'll have some tweaks to that probably next time.
okay. All right, so I will entertain a motion to adopt the new personnel policy and procedures with the changes that we made tonight, but next time we'll also need to vote on an amendment.
Resolution or ordinance? Phyllis, do you know if?
Resolution, I think.
Okay. Then scratch that, it's fine.
Okay, okay. That makes sense. So I need a motion to accept the policy and procedure manual
I make
as
a
drafted.
motion, we accept,
Okay,
and the changes.
okay. So I have a motion on the table to accept this version with the changes that are going to be made that we discussed just now by Alderman Elder. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Alderman Linder. And let's do roll call, please.
Alderman Elder,
Yes.
Alderman Langford,
Yes.
Alderman Linder,
Yes.
Alderman Proctor,
Yes.
Alderman Rubel.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay, next on the agenda, are you going to talk about, yes, the airport oil lease?
You may recall this airport project. We've had to condemn some land to expand the width of the runway so that it can service larger aircraft. All of those acquisitions have been made. We are in litigation with two gentlemen. One's name is Gregory Bohr. We couldn't quite agree on the value of the land that was acquired from him, but we did recently get a grant amendment and were able to offer him substantially more than we could before. So I don't know his answer to that offer that we've made him, but I'm optimistic that he'll accept it and we'll be able to resolve that soon. The second gentleman is a man named Tim Cook. He has an oil lease on Gregory Bohr's land, and the airport's had to put up a perimeter fence. And the way this oil well and pump is situated is there's a oil tank that comes out of the ground about 10 or 15 feet, and it sits on the airport side of the fence, and then the pump hose goes underground and attaches to the pump somewhere else on the property that we haven't acquired. That oil lease either needs to be abandoned and capped, or it needs to be purchased from Mr. Cook, or we can just allow it to stay as it is and provide Mr. Cook with access. We had an appraisal done on both the Bohr tract, which is how we got the grant amendment to be able to offer him more money, and they also specifically appraised the value of that oil lease that Mr. Cook owns. The appraisal came back and said it was basically worth $0. I was able to offer him some money from our grant that I hope will be reimbursed. We were nowhere even close. He's demanding $55,000 for this oil lease that our appraisal says is worthless. And the council needs to vote on that, because anything in excess of our appraisal is not going to be covered by a grant. So this will be money out of the city's pocket, every dime. So we need to vote tonight on whether you want to pay Mr. Cook $55,000 for this oil lease.
What happens if we just leave it like it is?
Well, so we have eminent domain proceedings currently pending, so those will just continue. And if we can't come to an agreement and it's not resolved, then we'll have to have a trial over what the value of royal lease is.
So he will attempt to sue the city and will be in litigation, and he'll have lots of expenses also, I mean, I guess.
Well, we're in litigation now, so the city sued these people back, I don't know, more than a year ago now, because we couldn't agree with them on the price of what we were requiring. So we were forced to file a lawsuit against a select few. These are the only ones that are still pending. We're so far apart on the oil lease that if you choose not to give him the $55,000 tonight, then, you know, I don't see this resolving anyway other than a trial, and we can do that.
We give him access to his tank and to his oil and everything. Do we have to do anything?
You know, not that I'm aware of, but there are a ton of really complicated FAA rules that I'm not sure about. So we have several consultants and somebody with TDOT who are very knowledgeable and are working with us on this. So that's something that we can ask. I know I've raised that possibility before, and I think that still remains a possibility.
If he gets into his oil, is he satisfied?
No, I think you would rather have $55,000, but and as far as I know, the well is not productive, and it hasn't been for several years.
So the whale's dead?
More or less.
Is there oil in the tank?
I don't believe so, but I haven't seen it for myself.
Because that would be a problem with the FAA.
Yeah, and environmental contaminants are a concern, but the tank has obviously been there for 30 plus years.
So it's not used on a daily basis?
Not even close.
So, I mean, we need a motion on the table to act one way or the other to pay Mr. Cook $55,000 for an oil lease that has basically zero value, or to see what the next step is.
And I should very quickly tell you Mr. Cook's side of the story. He's brought up several times that it's not just the value of the mineral rights, it's the infrastructure, the cost of the tank, the underground, the connectivity, the pumps. He says there's some value in that. Obviously, well, I don't think he even put the pump in, but somebody had to spend money to put that stuff in. So that's his position.
So I would need a motion. If the only motion to be made here would be to vote to pay him that money.
Or, I mean, you can have a motion to accept the offer and
Or
pay him the
deny
money,
the
or reject the offer.
Okay.
I make a motion to reject the offer.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion on the table by Alderman Proctor to reject the offer to Tim Cook for $55,000, and a second by Alderman Rubel. All in favor? Okay, let's do a roll call. Okay.
Alderman Langford,
Vote to reject, however I need to vote.
okay. Alderman Linder,
Yes or no?
Yes.
Alderman Proctor,
Yes.
Alderman Rubel,
Yes.
Alderman Elder,
Yes.
motion passed.
Okay. Thank you, Andre. Okay, next on the agenda, we have Kelly Coleman to speak on clarification of sign ordinances, et cetera.
Kelly Coleman. First of all, let me hand this out. Well, I know that none of you want to hear about signs, right? Y'all have talked about signs. I talked about signs years ago when I was in your shoes. However, I wanted to share a few thoughts that I have related to the ordinance, which may either be unclear or perhaps some misunderstandings by those who keep submitting permits to the city for flashing or portable signs. Let me be clear. I'm not here to advocate what signs you all include in your ordinance, what kind of signs you exclude. I'm not showing, my personal opinion has nothing to do with a flashing sign or a stationary sign, a portable sign, etc. I'm here because I'm concerned about the costs, and I want to explain. The cost to the taxpayers. I'm not sure that the full council, the public, for that matter, has a grasp on the extent to what is possibly an ongoing problem that's costing all of us a significant amount of money. Okay? Legal fees. When I was on the city council, we were sued. We were involved in multiple lawsuits at the time over billboards. Those cases went for a long time, and there were significant legal bills that had to be paid in the city's defense. Ultimately, the city won the cases, but at a cost. Apparently, we, the city, has ongoing issues, as I said, with the ordinances. When I read in the paper a few weeks ago that there was going to be a public hearing of the BZA, Board of Zoning Appeals, to discuss recent sign matters, I wanted to attend just out of curiosity to see what the current issues might be. So I came to the first meeting a few weeks ago and just sat and observed, and it was clear that either there's, again, this misunderstanding or unclear, still some unclarity about some of the codes. A couple of different parties presented their case. Ultimately, the Board of Zoning Appeals upheld the decision that the codes enforcement officer had, used to deny the sign permits. Again, I left, and a week or two later, I saw another advertisement in the paper for an additional BZA hearing related to signs. So I came back to that meeting. One of the same parties was at this meeting that had presented at the first meeting. This party had been denied 8 permit applications by the, at the time, Codes Enforcement Officer Walter. At the first meeting, this party had an attorney from Atlanta speak on their behalf. At the second BZA meeting, this party had another attorney speak on their behalf to explain why they felt that the denial was unreasonable. Why they had been wrongly denied. The city's attorney, again, got up and spoke and explained why the city's position was correct and that the denial was made within reason. And again, the Board of Zoning Appeals voted unanimously to uphold the decision that the Codes Enforcement Officer had made. Both of those cases, I want to point out, had to do with flashing signs. Okay? Needless to say, the party who presented at both meetings was expressively very disappointed in the decision. My concern, again, as I repeat, is that the city's likely going to face another expensive lawsuit that perhaps may have been avoided if the ordinance were clearer. The party's attorney mentioned that the manufacturer's name that I may be incorrect, but I believe they mentioned in their permit, but the attorney speaking on their behalf did mention this particular manufacturer, and I just passed it out. It's Watchfire, correct? So I looked it up, and I was curious what type of sign that is. That's basically what I pulled off their website. Again, I'm not sure, but it seems to me that these lawsuits are based on maybe an incorrect interpretation of the city's specific ordinance related to, again, the flashing sign. Because when I read the city's ordinance specific to the definition of flashing signs, as I'm sure you're all aware, it says a flashing sign is a directly or indirectly illuminated sign of which artificial light is not maintained stationary and constant in intensity and color at all times in use. Now, you can think about that in relation to what these signs do. They're constantly flashing on and off messages, right? We see them in some that have been grandfathered in our town and in other towns. I simply am a believer that incorporating examples into the ordinance may be helpful in clarifying that definition. Okay? So you read that definition, well, perhaps you could amend the ordinance, strengthen the ordinance, make it more clear by stating, for example, name Firewatch, Watchfire, as an example, and maybe list other manufacturer of signs that have similar type signs. You know, if it's unclear, maybe that helps to clear it up. List examples. I don't know if that's possible, but I believe that you, as the governing body, have the authority to amend the ordinance however you choose. All right? It's clear that you don't want this type of sign around town because you've passed the ordinances, right? In July of last year, 2024, you amended the ordinance to define a flashing sign as that. So out of curiosity, back to the cost issue. Out of curiosity, I submitted a public records request to the city because I was curious what these lawsuits and or pending or potential lawsuits could be costing the city taxpayers. Again, there's direct costs and indirect costs. You obviously have insurance. PEP, right, is the liability carried for the city. Many of these cases get turned over to them to defend. But I did find from my research that the city, over the last few months, has paid out $14,000 in just direct costs to attorneys' fees, for sign issues, specific to sign issues. I've also submitted a public records request to PEP going back 10 years to see what the city's insurance carriers have paid out for this stuff. That open records request should be back on Friday. So I would encourage you to, to find out what those costs are. I have a feeling it would be well over $100,000. Now, we all know if we have a bunch of claims on our carriers, what happens? Our rates go up, right? Again, I'm going to predict that the city is going to face another lawsuit from this party that's been recently denied. I'm not certain of that, but I would bet money on it. So, again, out of curiosity, knowing that the legal cases the city could be involved in is public record, anybody can ask this question. It's all public record. I contacted the clerk and master's office for Overton County and asked this question. And they provided me with this. A stack of documents related to a current lawsuit that the city's involved in related to portable signs. I don't know if you're aware of it, but it's an ongoing case, and who knows what the outcome's going to be, but it's going to, it's costing the city more money, right? So perhaps you need to clear up, amend put examples in the ordinance of what you do or don't want in terms of portable signs. If you don't want portable signs on tractor trailers at the bypass or anywhere else, maybe you need to put that in the ordinance, okay? May be helpful. I don't know. I'm not an attorney. Again, I'm not advocating for a particular sign or not. I'm here because I'm concerned about the costs that the city's having to expense. And again, I said I think it's in your authority to amend the ordinances however you choose. So I don't see what the negative ramifications would be to putting examples in the definitions in the existing ordinances that we already have that, clarify even further, put it in black and white. If you read those things like I have and you probably have, there's some, it's gray. There's, you really have to read it 2 or 3 times and maybe think about an application. By darn, just make it really clear. You've seen examples around town of things that you have denied, the BZA's denied, and the codes enforcement officer is denied. Put some of those examples in the ordinances. Maybe it'll save some money down the road. All right? Thanks. Now, to piggyback what Gene was saying, the courthouse project is, like he said, nearing completion. There are some delays in some of the lighting issues that we've encountered with the uplights and floodlights, et cetera. They're not going to be here till December, so unfortunately, some of that stuff that's going to make the courthouse really pretty at night is not going to be in place till probably mid-December. Otherwise, it should be finished. So, thank you.
You guys done a good job up there.
Thanks, Kelly. Okay, the last thing on the agenda is this resolution that you have before you. This resolution, the dates have changed in here because of our contract with Performance Services, and we had some delays in getting some approvals, but based on the fact that the resolution was a year ago, there was different leadership, then in order for us to go to the bond fund to fund the Performance Services project, we had to do another resolution. So this has already been passed. It's a repeat, but because of those things, the Tennessee Municipal Bond Fund wanted us to pass a resolution stating basically the same thing again, but just under leadership to be able to have the funding to fund the Performance Services project, which is the solar project on the raw water intake, some energy efficiency to the building, some water leak relief, the project that was, the contract that was signed in June of 2024. But it just took a little longer to get all the pieces in play. So, okay. So this is initial resolution authorizing the incurrence of indebtedness by the town of Livingston, Tennessee, in the principal amount of not to exceed $5 million by the execution with the Public Building Authority of the City of Clarksville, Tennessee, and of one or more loan agreements to provide funding for energy savings projects for the town. And I wasn't gonna read the whole resolution. This is because it's a repeat unless somebody wants me to read more.
Why is it referring to Clarksville?
I don't really understand bonding, but
So municipalities have to issue bonds.
So Clarksville will actually be making the loan.
yes, yes.
I think technically the money is generated from a bank, but Clarksville is the conduit by which the bonds will be issued. But this is,
Now, Laura, is this the project that helps us with the leaks or not?
It does have some water leak relief involved in it. There were multiple things, but water leak relief is one of the components.
Need a motion?
Need a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderman Linder. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Alderman Elder. Is there any more discussion? Okay, if not, let's do a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Linder,
Yes.
Alderman Proctor,
Yes.
Alderman Rubel,
Yes.
Alderman Elder,
Yes.
Alderman Langford.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay, is there any other business?
Kelly, I appreciate that. We need to do something that
We've already. Okay, yeah, we've already passed that ordinance, so, okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, have a motion by Alderman Linder to adjourn,
I'll second.
second by Alderman Rubel. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, meeting